Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Assalamu alaikum, students. Once again, welcome Pakistan International School Taif Virtual Learning System. This lecture is for grade second year, boys and girls, Pakistan Studies. And you know that we have started chapter 2, and this is your 8th lecture. Chapter 2, we have started initial problems of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Initial problems of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. In the previous lecture, we have discussed background and Radcliffe Award and its injustice. Then we have discussed results of the injustice done in the partition, and also we discussed problems of the newborn state of Pakistan. And in this, we discuss the administrative problem, a little review of the administrative problems. You know that the British and Hindu at last had to surrender before the exemplary struggle of the Muslims of India. The Hindus and Congress, however, did not accept the partition and emergence of Pakistan from the core of their heart. They always looked for opportunities to create problems for the newly born state of Pakistan. And after the partition, still they created a lot of problems. And Qaid-e-Azam paid his immediate attention towards setting up the administrative machinery, and he became the first Governor General of Pakistan. And Liaquat Ali Khan became the first Prime Minister of Pakistan. The Qaid-e-Azam took a number of steps to overcome the administrative problems of the new state. There was, no office equipment, no furniture, no official record, no stationery to pull up official routine. Government officials, full with national sentiment, did not care for the inadequacies and set to face the challenges under the dynamic leadership of the Qaid-e-Azam. Then we discuss the rehabilitation of refugees. You know that 5.5 million people, they migrated from Pakistan to India, and 6.5 million from India to Pakistan. And this was a big, we can say, a migration in 1947, and 1 million extra burden on Pakistan economy. But Qaid-e-Azam met this challenge with courage and determination, and he solved all these problems. Qaid-e-Azam handled the situation arising out the influx of refugees with vision, courage, and wisdom. He made stirring speeches to revive faith and confidence in the distressed refugees. And also, Qaid-e-Azam established a refugee fund, and Qaid-e-Azam also created this fund in which rich and wealthy people were asked to donate for the rehabilitation of poor refugees. Today, our topic, division of the assets. The Indian leaders, adopted every possible means to strangle Pakistan's economy so that the newly born state should not survive as an independent state. At the time of creation of Pakistan, there was a cash balance. You know that. Now we will discuss this in detail. First of all, cash balance that was 4 billion, and according to the partition formula, Pakistan was entitled to receive 1 billion on her share. This is in your book, page number 31, last paragraph, division of assets, page number 31. But the Indian government agreed to pay only rupees 75 crore out of it, and after the payment of rupees 20 crore, the balance was up withheld on one pretext or the other. And after the Gandhi insistent, and other rupees 50 crore were paid, but the balance amount of 5 crore still not paid. On the other hand, 20% of total debt also, which came to Pakistan's share, and Pakistan's was made Pakistan's liability. Some of the functionaries spoiled the office records and mutilated the factories and the military equipment before leaving for India. They did not spare even the hospital equipment. When the Hindus were migrating their own country, they spoiled, they burned all the record and even the hospital's equipment, which was to be used for the treatment of the patients. Division of the military assets. When the process of partition started, Liaquat Ali Khan, Prime Minister of Pakistan, first Prime Minister of Pakistan, demanded that a transparent formula should be adopted for the division of the army assets. But Defense Minister Sardar Baldev Singh and the Commander in Chief ignored his demand and did not pay attention. In July 1947, it was decided that the armed forces will be divided into two parts, and for this purpose, a committee was established under the chairmanship of the Field Marshal. Ochlik was formed to implement the scheme. The Indian government did everything to thwart this Ochnik committee effort for a just division of assets. Disappointed at the Indian government's uncompromising attitude, the field marshal decided to wind up his task, and also he reported to the British government the Indian behavior, and he clearly wrote that I have no hesitation whatever is affirming that the present Indian cabinet are implacably determined to do all their power to prevent the establishment of the dominion of Pakistan on firm basis. Departure of the committee gave India a free hand to fulfill its design, and now the Indian government gave Pakistan only a smart part of her share, the military asset, and even the assets were given that was not in working condition or in good condition. The aircraft and ships sent to Pakistan, they were not in working condition, and after the partition there were at the time of partition, there were 16 ordnance factory in the subcontinent. It can be asked in MCQs at the time of partition, there were how many ordnance factory? There were 16, but unfortunately, all went to Indian share. I told you before that the areas which were given to Pakistan share, they were totally backward areas industrial point of view, because these areas they were Muslims majority area, and all the industries when the British government all the industries they were installed in the Hindu majority area, so these areas they were not having an ordnance factory, and Pakistan started its new life with a small military forces having absolutely meager a small quantity resources. Canal water dispute also India created many problems for Pakistan, and the water dispute had its origin in partition of Punjab. It came to light on April 1st, 1948, when India cut off the flow of canal water to West Punjab in Pakistan. Canal irrigating the Indus Basin worked in an integrated network in the British period. At the time, it was considered to be the biggest and the most efficient system of the irrigation throughout the world. In 1947, this system was cut into two parts. As a result of this dissection, head of three rivers, Satluj, Ravi, and Beas, and many other headworks, they were given to India. Toward the end of the year 1947, the position further deteriorated. A part of Kashmir was occupied by India, and the upper part of the two more Pakistani rivers, the Chenab and the Jhelum, were also taken over by India, assuming full control over Pakistan's water. And this was the first attack after the creation of Pakistan on Pakistan economy from the India. And in April 1948, India cut water supplies in the canal irrigating the area in the vicinity of Lahore. And after the result, the ripe crops on thousands of acres they were destroyed. In this way, India exhibited her negative potentials of posing real threat of Pakistan agrarian economy. Now we will discuss section of the princely state. Accession of the princely state, the Indian princely state. You know that there were 580 big or small princely state. Uh, these states were not the part of the administrative setup of British India. They were ruled by the Indian princes who had agreed to come under the British government, and these states were internally independent but came under the British government with regard to their defense and foreign affairs. At the time of partition, there were 580 big and small princely states. These states has a special constitutional status and did not form a part of the British India. Under the partition plan, these states were given an option. These states were given the right to accede with either one of the two states. We have discussed in 3rd June plan, partition plan 1947, 3rd June 1947. Also, we called it the division plan, and we discuss in detail that these princely state, the right was given. They wanted to be the part of Pakistan or India. Most of the state had decided their future till August 5, 1947. Some of the state could not make a timely decision. Important among these were Kashmir, Hyderabad, and Junagadh. Now we will discuss all these in detail. First of all, we will discuss Kashmir issue. The state of Jammu and Kashmir was the most important state in the subcontinent. It is situated in the north part of the Indo-Pak subcontinent. It was the biggest state in India, and the majority of the people they were Muslims. Kashmir issue. Immediately after the partition plan was announced, the Congress leader and the Rajas of the state, neighboring Kashmir, especially those of the Patiala and Kapurthala, started exerting pressure on Maharaja of Kashmir for the accession of Kashmir to India. On that time, one thing that the people of Kashmir, majority they were Muslim, but the Maharaja that was Hindu, the ruling person that was Hindu, and he wanted to give this area to India. The Viceroy himself interfered in India's favor. We have discussed in detail the last Viceroy Lord Mountbatten role in division plan, in partition plan. He was the close friend of the Congress leaders, and he wanted to give favor to India. Viceroy Lord Mountbatten had a very close friendly relation with the Congress leadership and was a great sympathizer of the Congress point of view. So, also the role of Viceroy interfered in India's favor. Maharaja had disarmed the Muslim population of Punch and Jammu even before the declaration of independence was made. Control of these areas which bordered Punjab was taken over by Raja's army in order to expedite the movement of the Indian army. New roads were built very quickly in the southeastern part of Kashmir, and also we have discussed that in the Radcliffe Award that the first seed of the Kashmir problem were sown by the Radcliffe Award. Inclusion of Gurdaspur gave India an access to Kashmir. The only land route had connected India with Kashmir passed through Pathankot, a tehsil of district Gurdaspur. If this area, Gurdaspur, was not given to India, then Kashmir, there would be no land access for India to reach Kashmir. These events caused great unrest among the Muslim population of Kashmir. By the month of August, the armed rebellion broke out in Punj and Jammu. The Hindus and the Sikhs started killing the Muslim, and within a short span of time, 5 weeks' time, 50,000 Muslims were driven out for this area. Since the Kashmir Liberation Movement, a group of the local freedom fighter reigned short of arms. It sent its representative to the NWFP for procuring arms and ammunition. In this way, the stories of Maharaja atrocities were revealed to the valiant Pathan living in the tribal area. Thousands of the tribal militants took arms and made way to Kashmir. They went to Kashmir to help the Kashmiri people. When the news of tribal reinforcement was broke at Delhi, the British Governor General and the Indian leader forced the Maharaja to sign a formal request for Kashmir accession to India. Of course, Maharaja wanted this and he signed, and in this way, a large portion of Kashmir were given to India, and that was made a part of India against the will of the majority of our population, because the majority of population they were Muslim. Although the Quaid-e-Azam was on that time not in good health and fully preoccupied with the problem of refugee rehabilitation, yet he kept himself in close touch with the developing, taking place in Kashmir. He ordered the British government, the British commander in chief of Pakistan forces to deploy Pakistan troops in Kashmir. And on that time, who was the commander in chief Pakistan army? That was a British, and he did not accept and obey the Quaid-e-Azam order. He declined to obey, and Pakistani armed forces were later moved to Kashmir, but it was too late. The tribal militant reached Srinagar at the time when the first plane carrying Indian troops had already landed there. And again, India played her role, and India took this issue in 1948 to the United Nations and made a commitment to hold a plebiscite direct vote election in Kashmir. Both countries agreed to ceasefire, stop war, ceasefire, stop a war on United Nations request. This gave India a golden opportunity to strengthen her position in the valley. Here again, India played a game, and India took this issue when India observed that the tribal militant reached Srinagar. So India took this issue, and after the UNA order, both countries ceased fire, and this gave India opportunity to strengthen her position in the valley. Junagadh, Manavdar, and Mangrol. Also, they were the small princely state located half between Karachi and Bombay on Kathiawar coast. It had overwhelmingly Hindu population but was ruled by a Muslim Nawab. Now here situation was opposite if we compare to Kashmir. There the Muslims majority were Muslims, but the ruler was Hindu. Here the population were Hindu and the ruler that was a Muslim Nawab, and exercising this constitutional privilege, Nawab decided his state accession to Pakistan. Two other small princely states located in the small vicinity, namely Manavdar and Mangrol, followed suit. As soon as the news broke, Hindu population of the state took to street and Indian troops started moving towards Junagadh. Under this situation, the Nawab had no choice but to flee and take refuge in Pakistan. After a few days, the Indian forces entered the state and took it over. Manavdar and Mangrol also, India took over control. Hyderabad. Hyderabad in South India was one of the most important or the largest princely state in British India, and it had a population of 60 million to 1941 census report. It can be asked in MCQs. It had an area larger than area of England and Scotland combined. It was a vast province area-wise. Hyderabad was so wealthy and resourceful that it had all the potential required for making a prosperous independent state. That was a wealthy area, and it has a potential required for making a prosperous independent state. But unluckily, the state had no access to sea. It was landlocked and surrounded by Indian territory, and majority of Hyderabad's population that was Hindu, but its ruler, who held the title of Nizam, was Muslim. The state had a long history of Muslim rule and considered to be the most vibrant center of the Muslim civilization and culture. The Nizam was inclined to make Hyderabad an independent state, but when his intention was made known, the Governor General Lord Mountbatten, again Lord Mountbatten played his role here, and the Indian government started exerting pressure on him for the accession of the state of India. And you know that Lord Mountbatten already wanted to give favor to India, and also we discussed the injustice done in different places in Kashmir, in Hyderabad, Manavdar, Mangrol. Here also he played his role, and he gave this area to India. The Muslims of Hyderabad offered strong resistance to Indian effort for the accession of the state, but they were rendered helpless when the Indian forces entered the state on September 12, 1948, only one day after Quaid-e-Azam's death. The Nizam ordered his troop and the volunteer of the Ittihadul Muslimin to surrender. In this way, Hyderabad, the most exquisite center of the centuries old Muslim cultural and tradition, was lost to India. This area was also that was the center of Muslim tradition, culture, and this was also given to India. So also this one long question that was finished, accession of the princely state. It can be long question only Kashmir issue. Write a note on Kashmir issue. And also one more long question, problems of the newly born state. I told you one long question, administrative problem. And overall, also it can be asked in long question, discuss the problems of the newly born state of Pakistan. So you will write, briefly discuss all these problems. Hope you understand today's lecture. Thank you, student. Have a nice day.